Government Central. Government Central. Government Central.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the Cover Band Central podcast number 219 for Tuesday, August 20th, 2024. I'm Steve Witchell in New Orleans.
And I'm Tony B coming to you from New Jersey. What's happening?
August 20th today is my oldest niece's 21st birthday.
Wow. So last year she was 20 on 8/20.
Yes, and now she is a
Wow.
full legal adult.
Well, she's of drinking age.
Yes, she's
She was
legal on
arrestable.
everything
She
now.
was arrestable and legal at 18.
Right, but now she's legal on everything. She can walk into bars if she wants to. She's not really much of a drinker, though.
She can't
Which
get
is
good
good.
discount on car insurance until you're 26, though. So she's still got
Dude.
one milestone left.
Don't even go. I just posted this meme. I made it, the meme on car insurance, and this has nothing to do with music or cover bands or anything. But since you mentioned it,
Yes, do
I,
tell.
I was just walking out and like thinking about bills I'm paying and stuff. And I'm like, my car insurance went up, and I'm getting older. I'm not getting in accidents. I'm not getting moving violation tickets. Why is my insurance going up? And I'm thinking like, this is the biggest scam that we all just accept.
Who do you
It's
have
like
for insurance?
Progressive,
Okay.
which is better than what I had last time. It's still too much.
We can
Anything
talk.
more than
We can talk offline. I have some ideas to help you.
anything more than zero is too much. But I'm like, I spent. What if I never get in an accident in my entire life? What happens to that money? And they're like, oh no, we keep it.
It's like
What
anything
do
else.
you-
It's like health insurance. You could pay into it your whole life and thank God if you're healthy and you never use it. But, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars that you've paid into something that you'll never get back.
Just insurance in general. It's
It's
the
just
biggest scam that we all accept. And we're not all like, wait a second here.
no, Steve, because like the attorneys will tell you, it's not a problem until it's a problem.
Right.
Meaning, yeah, you could have no insurance and not pay anything. But then when you have an incident where you need it and you don't have it, now you have a big problem on your hands.
Yeah. All right.
You
Well, I could keep ranting about this, but I'm
You
not
could, but
gonna.
we're going to move on.
I'm not. We're gonna move on. Let's talk music and cover bands and all
Let's
that
talk
stuff.
music.
And cover bands and all that. I have to show the shirts too, and I didn't do it.
Oh,
I
yeah,
did it last time,
Yeah,
but
let's see
I
it.
don't have it. I don't have it ready here. So
Oh,
let me.
okay.
But for the people who are
You
listening
can
to
get a
the
shirt
audio,
like this that says Cover Band Central on it.
yeah. In fact, I should be wearing it. I don't know why I'm not wearing
You
it.
got the CBC hat.
I got the hat. The hat is coming soon. For everybody to be purchased. But we have uh, shirts, t-shirts, and we have them both for men and women. And I will show you. I did show it last week, but I'll show it again because I didn't show you on air.
No, because when we were on air last time, my power went out.
Your power went
my
out.
internet went down, and I got cut short of the party.
And I was talking for a while by myself, which I was okay with. And then you called and you were kind of on the air. But then some reason my audio cut out. And then I'm just like,
That's good times right there.
and like, whatever. I just posted the video anyway. But yeah. So, but here is what these look like. We have men's and ladies, two different versions of this shirt. One says musician all day, every day.
Yes,
the others-
musician.
And the other says musician and has the coverbandcentral.com URL underneath it. They're very nice looking shirts. They're very good quality shirts.
Yeah,
too.
very nice.
So the link will be in the description here.
And Steve, that's very important to have a good quality shirt because, like, you can
It
go to
is.
Old Navy and buy the $5 flag shirt, but it's like paper thin.
Yeah, these are good, nice, high quality shirts.
Yeah.
Made by an independent artist. So this is not laborers, working for
This is not-
underpaid.
right.
This
It's
is
not some Cover Band Central sweatshop.
Right. This is one guy in his apartment who designed this logo, and he's making these shirts by hand. So rather than buy your clothes from the big box places, support independent artists.
Yes.
If you're listening to the audio podcast, I'll put the link here in the description. You can also go to the Cover Band Central Facebook page or in the group and search for this to find it. Or you could just send me an email, steve@coverbandcentral.com, if you have any questions or are looking for this shirt. But yeah, these are one of a kind. These are unique. These are a Cover Band Central, really kind of our first shirt ever.
Yeah.
So get yourself
Manufactured
one.
in the comfort of air conditioning by an independent artist.
Yes. So get yourself one and wear it proudly and take a picture of it, of you wearing it, and post it in the group, and we'll
Yeah.
fill it up.
I like it, Steve.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. Thank you.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Gosh, there's a lot to talk. I'm working Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we're starting later now. I work on Bourbon Street in New Orleans, everybody, at a place called Bourbon Bandstand. And we were starting at 2 o'clock and playing until 6:15. Now we're starting at 3:30 and playing until whenever we're done. So
So that could be 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock.
right. So yeah,
Whatever it is.
Saturday it was 10 o'clock. So we played 8 sets on Saturday. Friday we played 7 sets. We stopped at 9:15. Sunday we played 2 sets and we got cut early because there was nobody there. But because it's super hot now, nobody wants to be here. But Saturday it was busy, and
8 sets. Yeah, that's something.
8 sets. And what's kind of cool about it is we have our keyboard player's named Sonny. He also sings and plays guitar and plays bass and plays drums. He plays everything, but he sings in a band across the street at night. So he plays keyboards with us during the day and goes over there and sings at night. So we play the first 4 sets, and then he leaves, and then we don't have keyboards. So we played the next 4 sets with no keyboards, which kind of helps us in a way a little bit. It helps us with money, first of all, because it's
Yeah, I was
fewer
gonna say, 'cause
members
you're
on
still
stage.
getting paid the same money for the set, and you're just
Yeah,
down a guy, right? So now
yeah,
you're
yeah.
all splitting his pay. That's cool.
Well, we're splitting tips. We make tips, but it gives me the biggest benefit for me is it gives me more room on stage because he sets up to my left. So I am stage left to the left of the drummer on the hi-hat side. That's where I stand.
Mm.
And I have just a very tiny area, barely any lateral movement there. I just have to kind of stand in that one place. And then Sonny with the keyboards is to my left, and then behind him is the end of the stage. He faces sideways, so he faces me. But when he leaves, now I have that whole area to myself. So I'm able to kind of move around and actually perform a little bit. So that was what I did Saturday, and that felt good. I don't really get to do that all that often. So it felt like, okay, this is really me on stage. This is how I am, not just kind of standing in the back. So that was fun. And then the week prior, they had a thing called the Red Dress Run. They have it here every year,
Mhm.
and it's a charity event. People sign up and donate, and then they do this. It's not a run. They do kind of a walk for a couple miles, and they
In
do it
red
early.
in red dresses?
Red dresses, guys and girls, both
So did the
wearing red
band dress
dresses.
up in red dresses?
We did not. Our one girl singer did, but we did not. I don't own a red dress.
Ooh.
I don't own one, and I'm not going to buy a red dress for one day.
You could have went out and bought a red garbage bag and
No,
made a
that's
top and a bottom. Could have made a skirt out of one piece and
no,
put some arms through a top,
that would look terrible.
draw some buttons on it. Be perfect, man. Red garbage
Buttons.
bag day. Yeah, you can't just show up with a garbage bag on. You gotta put some buttons on it, a pocket maybe, make it look a little, some maybe draw some like frill, like some tooling on the sleeves.
Mm. I'll consider
Anyway,
that
yeah,
next
next year.
August.
Yeah, we'll consult
Yeah,
prior. Just let me know when you
yeah.
need.
But lots of fun. A lot of people out on that day. So that
Yeah.
and they're and the run is early. It's like 9 o'clock in the morning, I think, something like that. and then they're drinking, at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Mm.
And there's, you're walking around the French Quarter. There's everywhere people in red dresses. So we started at 11 a.m. on Saturday that week, which was, last week, which is early. We played till whatever it was, 9:15 Friday, and then had to be there at 10 a.m. to start at 11.
Mm.
And we played I think 10 sets that day. Um,
And what are they, 45-minute sets?
45-minute sets. So we played like 4, and then maybe 3, and then another 3 or something, like with a half-hour break in between those. But yeah, into the evening, and ton of fun though. It doesn't feel like as much work when the room is packed and people are drinking and people are requesting songs and people are tipping the band. We made a lot of money in tips on Red
Mm.
Dress Day.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. A lot on the app that we use. That was really I think the most I ever made on the app in one day on that day.
Wow.
So tons of fun. I got to talk more about the app coming soon. We've talked about it here, but it's called My Set, and
Mhm.
you can sign up through CBC and get some cool perks. But they're doing some really awesome updates that are going to help a lot of people. And it's almost completed. I'm going to say another maybe 2 weeks. And then I'm going to do a big blast about My Set because it's the best, man. It's the coolest.
Excellent.
It's, you get the fan interaction, you make more money, people are happy, you're happy. It's
Mm.
great. It's all good. But all right, so I have another thing I want to tell you about that I was just dealing with before this started. But let's talk about you a little bit.
Oh, let's talk about me, Steve. Sure. I'll give you a quick
What do you
little
got?
recap.
What do you got going
So,
on for me?
living here in the Northeast, Steve, it's very rainy this summer. It's been a lot of rain, like
You're so lucky.
nonstop, right? So, what was it? So we've been playing a bunch of outdoor summer concert series, So it's
Right.
typically summer on like underneath a big gazebo or a covered like park thing, and everyone sets up on the grass. Other ones are you're on a giant stage out in the middle of a field, with nothing around, right? So we
Hmm.
played this one gig for the Fireman's Festival, under a big circus tent with a carnival, sketchy weather, but big tent, like enough, the full stage, the band was fully covered, like a circus tent, yellow and white, and the whole thing,
Right.
and a full-blown carnival going on. And I think we talked about this last time, like 2 songs in, it starts monsoon raining.
Right.
200 kids online getting tickets for the carnival rides. Rides are still running. They go for like an hour and a half in the pouring rain, lightning, thunder, don't care. Carnival's up in town. They're running it. I think the only thing
What? Yeah, you can't do
yeah,
that.
I think the only thing that didn't run was, one of the higher rides, like the swinging rides, but every other ride they ran. So then maybe,
That's incredibly
yeah,
dangerous.
a little while in, and then finally some guy came over and said, "All right, we're gonna cut it. It's raining. Thanks, but we're gonna call it
So
a night."
you guys were still playing during that
We're
hour
still
and a half
playing. We had it. Oh yeah, we played the whole
because you
time.
were covered. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
didn't stop. We just kept going the whole time. We kept playing.
Were there
And
enough people under the circus tent was there enough room for people to come in there and watch the band, or was
no,
it just covering the band?
no, it was just covering the band.
All right.
And everyone was too preoccupied with the carnival.
Right. Got
But
it.
you could hear us all the way across the other side of the venue. We had a sound guy and we have a sound man now. I think I told you that we have a dedicated
Yeah. Yeah.
sound guy now. So that makes a big difference. Great guy, Mike Reddington.
Yeah. I told you that at the gig I
Yeah.
saw. It sounded
Yeah.
great.
So then you fast forward, we played another couple of gigs outside. Weather was agreeable. And then last Thursday, we played this outdoor event at Shannon Park up in Slate Hill, New York. Big giant park, big gazebos, picnic areas, restrooms, giant gazebo were underneath, but it had this low plywood ceiling. So the two things that come to mind are as soon as I set the drums up, I set the bass drums up, snare drum up, and I'm just, checking the kick drum and it's going dum 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 dum. It's got this like duck sound. And it's
Uh,
some kind of reflection off of the plywood ceiling, so I can't detune it, I can't muffle it, I can't get rid of it. Now, like everything else, once the band starts playing, you don't notice it, you know? But
Right.
when I'm just
Right.
sound checking, it's like, "What's the duck in your bass drum doing?" Crazy. About 25 minutes into that gig, maybe 40 minutes into that gig, we go into Golden Slumbers, I do my drum solo at the end of Golden Slumbers. I notice, like, 2 verses before the drum solo's coming up, it looks like it's starting to rain. Dude, on the downbeat, I start my drum solo. Monsoon rain, everybody leaves. Everyone backs up their
Oh
chairs.
no.
They all bail. Half the people left. Half the people went to other gazebos, like, to seek shelter.
Right.
And then the event organizer came up and was like, and then, of course, when I'm done, I'm like, "Was it really that bad? You guys had to leave?" Like, I didn't think it was that bad, right?
Nobody likes the drum
Right.
solo.
No
Everybody
one likes
leaves.
drum solo. Evidently, they all left. So, the promoter said, "Would you still play because there's still people here and we're dry and we're safe and secured," and said, "No problem." So we played the whole rest of the time, and then
Uh-huh.
maybe the last 15 minutes it stopped raining and like 4 people came out back out of the gazebo.
Oh,
Then
okay.
then Saturday, we're playing Greenwood Lake Concert Series, giant stage on the water, boats pull up behind you, like best venue of the summer. Kind of sketchy weather. We pull up there. I get there early. I'm there with the sound guy. He's unloading. I said, you know what? I'm gonna set. I brought a 12 by 12 like a pop up, like a canopy, this way in case it was raining while we are setting up, my stuff wouldn't get wet.
Mhm.
Well, no sooner did I set the canopy up, and the same thing happens. The forecast says rain for the next 15 minutes. It starts raining. 15 minutes later, rain for the next 4 hours, getting heavier. Now it's pouring rain, wind-driven rain. There's like the 12 by 12 canopy, there's a 3-foot circle in the middle of it that's dry. Like everything else around the whole inside of the canopy is soaking wet because it's wind-driven rain. It's just coming
Right.
in all over the place. So I didn't even start setting up. We sat there for a little while. Finally, the guy said, "We're gonna call it because of weather, You guys still get paid, which is great.
Oh, there you go.
But they may ask you for a makeup date." So Friday after Labor Day, I think it's the 7th, we're playing uh the makeup gig for that date. That's the makeup
And
date for the rain date.
and then you gotta play for free.
Well, we didn't even cash the check yet. So yeah, we'll be
Okay. Yeah.
we'll be getting paid for that gig. Um
Right.
Not playing for free because we didn't play the first time. And
Yeah,
technically
okay.
I was the only
Gotcha.
one that was there setting up, so that counts as like the show up. We
Right,
made an
right,
effort. I was there, we unloaded, we couldn't do it.
right.
But yeah, we got a couple more summer gigs left. Should be fun. Cole's now playing practically, the whole set with us. He just bought a brand new guitar, new for him. Um, Buddy of mine was selling his Digitech pedal board. He picked that up. So he's upgraded a bunch of equipment. He's got in-ear monitors now. So he's fully engaged in and embracing the live gig environment. He's figuring out the rhythm parts. He's like a utility player. He's playing acoustic. He's playing electric. He's playing lap steel. He's playing a bunch of different stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's been a lot of
T
fun, and
Talented young man your son is.
he certainly is, man. He definitely got the gift of music. He definitely can figure stuff out on his own, and he plays
Right.
great with such great feel for being so young. But he grew up in a musical family, so he's been around music since he was little.
Yeah.
But but one thing I am going to do, but I haven't told anybody, is that if you recall, when I first started playing with OC5, almost 4 years ago now, I had like a 3-piece kit, 4-piece kit, then a
Mhm.
5-piece kit. Then I turned it into a 7-piece kit, double bass drum and the racing stripes, and I've been playing that kit for like 3 years. So, for these next 2 gigs, I'm breaking out portions of this blue kit behind me,
Oh
and
my god.
I'm gonna build. I'm not gonna disassemble this. I'm gonna take off the parts. I have extra hardware, so I can just slide the drums off, take them with me, go do the gig, and then when I come back, I can just slide them back on again, and then this kit stays intact. So I'm not breaking this kit down. I'm just gonna borrow from it. But
Wow.
guys have no idea. So I'm gonna break out one of my Class A super drum sets, which will be fun for me to play too because the kit I play, it's spare kit that I have.
Yeah. You're a madman. You're crazy.
Fun, you gotta mix it up. You
I
can't
hear you.
same kit all the time. It's always good to try
Well,
different.
you can.
You can. What happens is, Steve, if you play the same kid all the time, you fall into, like, pattern. Like, you, like, you go to the same type of fill all the time. You go to the same
Mhm.
this because everything's in the same place. You mix it up and put all stuff in different positions now, different cymbals, different size drums, different everything. It just makes you more creative, because now you're, like, creating on the fly.
Right.
And, like,
Um,
to quote Frank Zappa when they said to him, "Well, why don't you play the same guitar solo every night?" And his response was something to the effect of like, "Well, if you'd like to have a preconceived notion and play the same thing all of the time and be uncreative, then you can certainly do that. But, for him, when it comes time to solo, he doesn't know what he's doing until the solo time comes.
right.
And then whatever he creates at that moment is what he creates. It could be spectacular, it could be terrible, but it's not going to be the same as it was yesterday,
Right.
which is kind of
Well, that's
cool,
fun.
you
Yeah,
know?
that's very cool. I understand it. If I use a different bass, I might play a little differently and
Yeah.
whatever. So
Yep.
so all right, if you're the one that has to do the work. So
Yeah,
if you
I
don't
know.
mind doing the work,
I know.
then
And dude, I'll leave you with this
you
thought
know,
that is the funniest thing because we played another outdoor gig and our sound guy couldn't make it. Before he became our sound man, he already had a string of gigs that he was committed to. So he said, "Listen, I can't do that gig, but I'll give you, I'll loan you a PA you can use. I'll loan you the speakers, the stands, a mixer, power amp, all the stuff you need because, you're my band now." So we're like, "That's cool, man. Thank you. Really appreciate that." So he gave us this killer rig and we used it, and it was plenty loud and it was great. Sounded excellent. But they were 15-inch mains and they were big Yamaha, like older speakers. So they were probably 70 pounds each. 60 pounds each, heavy, 2 people have to
sure.
carry them. Dude, if you could only see, like, everybody in the band, like, "Well, how are we gonna get the speakers down here? Like, there's too many stairs. Well, maybe we can use the other speakers. Hey, maybe we can rent plastic speakers that aren't as heavy." So, during this whole debate, I just turned around and I said to him, "Guys, let me just state for the record that not one of you could ever be a drummer, not in your wildest dreams, because 'cause you're
Right.
complaining about carrying in 4 speakers. You would never make it carrying, making 10 trips to your car. You just wouldn't survive.
Yeah.
And you've played Jefferson House, right, on Lake Apacon?
Yes.
So, it's like 56 stairs from the parking lot to the
Right.
stage.
Right.
So, we just power surge the stuff down. These guys get the speakers in the back of the truck, and he's like, "Well, I'm gonna pull around the back to the loading dock ramp, and we'll put it on a dolly, and we'll go." And I said, "Dude, just put the speaker on my shoulder. I'll carry that one down by myself.
Look
Like,
at you.
just grab a side. Come on, let's go, man." So we carried him down, amongst a bunch of grumbling and complaining about how heavy they were, and then I
I
quickly
remember I'm
reminded them
sorry.
that, like I said, you would never survive as a drummer because you
Yeah.
just too much stuff to carry.
As a bass player, I have to carry heavy cabinets too. I
Yeah,
remember I was thinking about this recently too. I don't know what the hell was wrong with me, but I had a 410 cabinet, a big like 410 cabinet. I don't remember.
probably a
I've had a
Harkey.
bunch of them. No, it was like a bigger one. It was like an Ampeg,
Oh, yeah,
um,
Ampegs made big ones.
bigger one, and it didn't have casters or anything on it.
Mhm.
Um, and I remember I would play. There's just one stupid time I remember that I did this. I didn't have a dolly with me or anything, and I was playing in Hoboken, New Jersey,
Yeah.
and parking sometimes in Hoboken or any city like that is a challenge. And I didn't find close parking to wherever I was playing. It might have been William McBride's or something like that. And I had to park, like 7 or 8 blocks away, whatever. And I had to carry my cabinet that whole way, like this huge, very
Oh, yeah,
heavy
yeah.
bass cabinet by myself, carry it, and I would walk walk 10 steps and put it down, and walk 10 steps and put it down. I mean, ridiculous. Like, what's wrong with me? Why don't I have a freaking hand truck in my car?
Mhm.
I mean, so I don't do that anymore, thankfully. But that was
No,
fun.
my first band, the guitar player played through a double 15 Ampeg bass cabinet, and it was probably
Yeah.
almost 5 feet tall and 3 feet wide. And
Hmm.
like a foot and a half deep, but it had casters on it. But it
Yeah.
was immense, tremendous. like the
Yeah,
biggest cabinet we ever played with.
and it's like those 810 Ampegs too. They're like
Yeah.
5 feet tall. Um, you know, I couldn't use one of those now because it wouldn't fit in my car. So I
Correct,
would have to have it.
and it was mammoth sound,
Yeah,
super loud.
yeah,
But yeah, all good stuff, man. So yeah, so for all you listeners out there, learn how to play the harmonica.
right. Something light, trumpet,
Briefcase full of
flute.
harmonicas. You roll up, open up your briefcase, you set your mic up, blow a little harp. You're done. You pack it up and you go.
There you go.
That's it.
Tambourine, anything.
Tambourine's a good one too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, um, so yeah, I got to talk about this. So I did an interview last week.
Hmm.
Somebody interviewed me, a local internet radio station, and this guy got in touch with me a few weeks ago, and he said he wanted me to come and do this. He was doing these remotes for his station at a bar where bands play often, and I couldn't make it. And then he wanted to do it yesterday, and he asked me last week, and I was like, I can't. Mondays are bad for me because that's after the weekend when I'm work playing all weekend, and I have to catch up on CBC stuff on Monday.
Mm.
And so he said, "All right, let's do a pre-recorded interview." So we did it over the phone. He called me last Thursday, and we talked for about 45 minutes, I'd say. Um, some of it we were just shooting the shit, and some of it was actual interview. But then he did the remote last night, and I listened to it on his internet radio station, and he interviewed a bunch of local band members here that who I know who are really the top players around here. So at first I was thinking like, I don't know his show. Like, what is it? Is it? Does anybody listen to it? Is it anything? But then I heard this, this interview stuff, and I'm like, okay, he's dialed into the scene. He knows the top players around here, and it was pretty cool. And then I was listening after he did the live spot, and he was just playing music, and I'm looking at this. This program that he uses. It's Live 365, and it's where you can make your own radio station. You and we've been doing this podcast thing for 6 years now, or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but we've talked about it many times. I've told you about how my love for radio and how when I was a kid, I would make little radio shows.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm looking at this thing. I'm like, I need to make a radio station for Cover Band Central. Why have I not done this? How did I not know that this was a thing I could do? Knowing about the internet and all that.
And now you've learned something new, Steve.
So I'm looking into this now, and uh, I want to make a cover radio station. They're already, and I said this years ago, man. But there is one on Sirius XM, but it's not on. Like if you're listening in your car, it's not on there. You actually have to search for it to find it.
Hmm.
Um, and I listened to that for a little while, and it's good, but it's playing all these. I would say it's good, but I think I could still do it better. So make a Cover Band Central internet radio station, and then if you sign up for a certain tier of this site, then it gets distributed to like iHeartRadio and blah blah blah. So it can be out there. Um, so I'm going to do this, and
And what
I'm
will your basis of music be?
covers,
All
all
covers.
all covers, yeah.
Now, is there a way around the copyright infringement and royalties and all that stuff?
Yes, and this is the great thing about this Live 365 thing. They pay ASCAP and CSAC and BMI. They pay the annual fees. So you pay your fees to Live 365. They pay the fees to the publishing companies. So you don't have to worry about it. So no copyright issues. You can play whatever you want.
Hey, so this is interesting you say that too. Have you heard that venues that have live music have to pay a
Yes.
fee every year to all those industries you just said?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
interesting.
that's
I was not aware of that. That if you own a bar and you have bands that play covers, you have to pay a fee to BMI, ASCAP, all these entities
Yeah,
to cover the royalties that would be due to artists that the songs are being covered.
it's correct. Even if you have just a jukebox, even if you don't have bands,
Interesting.
jukebox, you have to do it too. Yeah, that's
But if
that.
you go down the beach and you're on the boardwalk, you hear songs being played that are covers.
Okay.
So I guess that's a way around them not having to pay a royalty because, you're standing at the bumper cars while your kids are riding on it and you hear "Living on a Prayer," but if you really listen, it's not Bon Jovi. It's a cover.
Okay.
And then you hear the next song of whatever it might be, it's a cover. So somebody has made like a cover playlist of a whole bunch of songs from bands that sound like the artists, and then they pump that through the PA, through the
Yeah.
boardwalk.
I don't think anybody from ASCAP is like walking down the boardwalk, like checking on bumper car rides to see if they're
No, but you
violating.
but you know what I'm saying? When you go on the boardwalk, there's always music playing, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, it's just interesting. I wonder how that affects the outcome. Like, why wouldn't they just put the normal song on from the regular artist? Why are they
I don't
playing
know.
a cover of that song?
I don't know.
So,
You'd have to go ask somebody.
yeah, my spare time.
Yeah.
Get a
But
committee together.
I think this is a tremendous opportunity for
It's a very cool idea.
me,
Yeah.
for Cover Band Central in general, and especially for all the members and people who follow Cover Band Central, all the bands out there.
Hmm.
Because I've said it so many times, there's so many good bands out there. There's so much talent, singers, drummers, bassists, guitar players, keyboards, everything. There's so many talent around the world, and great versions of songs. And I would now, I mean, how have I not done this already? Have to have this part as part of Cover Band Central, a radio station, a Cover Band Central radio station that is rolling 24/7.
Yeah.
So it's going to be costly for me to do this. So what I was thinking was I'll probably start like a crowdfunding thing and get people, like say, if you want me to put your song in rotation for a week, donate $25 or whatever, I'll just come up with different things.
Sure.
Um, which is almost kind of like a payola thing, but it's not because it's a crowdfunding thing. And I'm saying, well, this is your reward for your donation.
Well, you
So
could
you
also
kind of got
reach
to
out
let it
to
know.
the whole cover band community and say, "I'm launching this radio station. We need support. Even if you can donate $1 towards the cause, it will help." And
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
enrich the whole cover band community, right? Everyone's gonna benefit from it. It's win-win, but like you said, you shouldn't have to shoulder the entire financial burden of it, especially since you're not gonna be, rolling in the money when you roll this out. Like, it's not gonna be a profit center day one,
No, yeah, correct. It's not
right?
gonna.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's gonna
it's
take
just
some
gonna
time
cost
to
me money.
right, to get it up and running, so,
Yeah,
um, yeah, I think it's a very
yeah.
viable, thing to get a crowdfund or GoFundMe for sure.
Yeah, I think so too. And since the audience is so big, I think there'll be a wealth of material out there. So I want to get started with that kind of right away.
Yeah,
Curating MP3s, going through, start making playlists, and really have before I even launch it, I want to have like 1,000 songs that I can have in there as playlists and then I could do different little shows, each week I could do a countdown thing if I want. I could do
yeah,
contests and I can even have this podcast be a part of that radio station. So our recorded audio podcast episode each week,
or
I will
accessible
play
through
it.
right.
I'll play it on the radio station. So this way it finds a new audience, perhaps, whatever. It's more content, but yeah, I think it's a win-win too, man, and I'm super excited because now I get to kind of live my childhood dream of being a DJ.
Yeah, say how exciting, dude. You get right back to where we just talked about this, you know,
Yeah,
about making playlists and all the stuff like you used to love to do. Now
I
you can
love to
do
do
the
it.
same thing
Yeah,
as an adult.
yeah. So I can be a little kid in a candy store playing with a radio station, and I just when I thought of this last night, I was so excited. I was getting chills. I'm like, this is oh my god, this is the best thing ever.
Yeah, yeah,
So I was just before I was talking to John, who's the guy who interviewed me, just trying to pick his brain for some tips, and I actually last night I wrote down a bunch of questions. I'm like, can we talk tomorrow? And so we talked on the phone for a little bit, and he helped me out. Super nice guy. In fact, he said, call me later if you have anything else. So I'm like,
Very
Okay.
cool.
But yeah, so that's a thing I'm going to do
Well,
because
congratulations. That's very exciting.
I think so too. And I'm gonna mix
Yeah.
it with known artists that do covers too. I'll put that in there as well because you know a 24/7 radio station, you need a lot of content.
Yeah.
So I'll have to segment it sometimes and do little shows like the Metal Hour or
And it's
you know
ad free,
whatever.
right?
No, well, no, it's not. But you can place the ads where you want them. And John was just telling me that they, if you sign up for the package that includes ads with Live 365, you have to play, I guess he said, a minimum of 4 minutes of ads per hour,
Hmm.
which
Okay.
to
It's not
me,
terrible.
that's not
Not
terrible
a
at
lot.
all.
No, not at
Like
all.
you do a 30-second ad or a 60-second ad once
Every
every
50,
15
yeah,
minutes.
exactly. Then you're hit your quota.
That's nothing. You know, and this way I could, and then I could put in other ads for me for Cover Band Central. I can get other sponsors
Sure.
too. You know, once I have a risk, once it's rolling, I can, you know, reach out to other companies and say, hey, you want to buy some ad space? Um, so yeah, I'm really super excited about this whole idea of it. And if you're listening to this program or if you're watching this video, this podcast here, and you like this idea and you want to submit your songs already, you want to submit an MP3, I have to put you could do it, Steve at coverbandcentral.com. Just send me an email with the file. Tell me something about your band and about the
Cover
song.
Band Central Radio.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do some bumpers. I'll definitely need your help for that
Yeah, we'll
because
hook it up. We'll definitely get
we'll,
something good.
we'll do some good bumpers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but that's a part of it I'm excited about too because I love just making like creating little things, music and
Yeah.
stuff, and
And you're
so
good
yeah,
at it, so it'll be easy for you.
oh, thank you. I don't know if that's true, but thank you. Let's see if we have any comments. Oh, wait a second. We're not live.
No, I have comments here, Steve. It says, "Good luck with the radio station. A home run. What kind of music will you play? How do I subscribe? Very exciting.
Mm,
Good
those are
stuff.
excellent comments that you
Good
just came
stuff.
up with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to really kind of cover all genres. So that's the challenge, I suppose. Because it's not going to be like a country station or a rock station. It's going to be an everything station.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But yeah, because I hear like I listen to Sirius XM in my car, and I'll hear I'll listen to some of some of the stations that are not in the mainstream, and sometimes I hear covers that I've never heard before that are really different interpretations of songs. I'm like, wow, that's super cool.
I gotta look
Um,
back to it over, like, all of the digital audio tapes and things I have from the past of cover bands that I played in, that did, like, just what you're talking about. Like, I played in one band that just played heavy stuff, White Zombie, Soundgarden, um, Nine Inch Nails, Alice in Chains, that kind of, genre. And then I played in another cover band, like, that was all, 80s, 90s, 2000s. Bunch of recordings from that, and then I got a bunch of recordings from the new band too, of all 70s and 80s stuff. So, be interesting because the older band stuff might work for, like, your metal hour or something because there's, like,
right,
Nine Inch Nails Wish into, like, Unsung by Helmet, you know? Like, all, like, classic metal songs that nobody really did at the time.
right. Yeah, if you could digitize that, man, send it
Yeah,
to
that'd be
me,
great.
and I'll add it to my my
Your collection.
library.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start. I got to start it right away. Start curating songs. I mean, I'm sure I have some already. Um, in my external hard drives in my from
Mhm.
years and years of collecting stuff. But yeah, yeah, man,
But
there's
like you
just
said, you
so
gotta
much good
find a
music.
good version, you gotta find a good audio quality version, you know what I mean? Where you can hear everything and it sounds good. Um,
Yeah,
so that stuff like that's cool.
I think so. But I was listening to the station, his station last night, and he was playing some local artist stuff and some that was recorded decades ago. And
Yeah,
you could definitely hear the drop in audio quality, but it still sounded okay. It was
right.
still like, okay, yeah, I can hear everything. It's like I get it. It's from 20 years ago or whatever, 30 years ago maybe. But yeah, I'm just I know I'll have challenges along the way, but I'm going to plow forward. This is really an exciting idea for me, and uh, hopefully the community will agree. I think so.
I think so too, Steve.
We'll see. We'll
Gonna
find out.
find out.
I never know. I think I know. I think
You
I know
think
all the
you know,
time, and then I don't know. I don't know anything.
but like you said, we're gonna find out.
Yeah, we're gonna find out. So yeah, look out for it out there. CBC Radio. I can't call it CBC Radio though because
No.
Canadian
Gotta
Broadcasting
come with a good
Company.
name for that.
WCBC,
WCBC New Orleans.
not New Orleans. WCBC Earth.
Worldwide.
I just might call it Cover Band Central Radio,
Yeah.
but that's a mouthful too. You want to say something that's easy, like WAPP. That's easy to say. So I need something that's easy to say. Can I say WCBC? Can I do that?
I don't see why not.
Well, Canadian Broadcasting Company, they might have an issue with me
WCB
using.
Central.
No, a radio station. Radio station has letters.
Correct. WKRP.
WPLJ,
WNEW.
WDHA.
Right. So they're all a W something. So
The
yeah, what's
W on the East Coast, east of the Mississippi, I think, and then
Mhm.
to the west, it's K.
K
Don't
Rock?
know why. Don't know who decided that. Somebody just all of a sudden one day decided.
Hmm.
All right, over here we're gonna be K.
I wonder what the W stands for though. Why is it WNEW?
I don't know. Somebody Google that and let us know.
Sounds good. We'll look for it in the comments. Good stuff though.
Oh
Yeah,
boy,
no, that's awesome. WCBC.
I'm gonna call it that for now.
I think you
WCBC
should.
until I decide differently. So
And
then I need to.
maybe you the moniker is WSEEBSEE.
No,
CBC.
that's too much.
And then you won't be you say it's a mouthful, but it's the same amount if I say WCBC or I say WCBC.
Mhm.
WCBC. Spell it
I'm
any way you
saying
want.
saying no. I'm saying Cover Band Central is a mouthful.
Yeah, I'm saying
Cover
if you
Band
want yeah,
Central
but
is
if
5 syllables.
CBC is Canadian Broadcasting Company, then you make your CSEE BSEE. Like C
But that's not a letter. That's a word.
BC. No, it's 3 letters, SEE.
No, I know, but
Listen, try the WCBC, and then when someone comes to cease and desist knocking at your door, then you'll know you gotta change it.
they're Canada though. They're nice. They're
And
not
then
gonna
by
do
that
that.
time, you'll have, like, 1,000,000 subscribers to that channel too, and then, you just hire an attorney to fight them.
Right.
It's
It's the
my internet.
Canadians.
It's my
They're,
internet radio station.
I've heard the Canadians are all nice people. So
I believe they are, Steve.
I'm not gonna worry about it. I'll figure it out. But my first step is I'm gonna tell the community about it. I think
Mhm.
and see what they say, and then start putting together some music
Yeah, some Muzak.
and come up with a program guide
Yeah.
and maybe hire some on-air talent. Like if you want to do Tony, we could have like the Tony. What's it?
The
Tony time.
Tony time. There you go. It's
Tony time. That's good alliteration.
Tony time.
We'll have Tony time, and you can curate your own playlist, and then
And
you
I
can
could be like
record this.
I could be the DJ, right? I could say, "Hey
Yeah,
guys, Tony time. Welcome to Tony show."
yeah, you record it all ahead of time, and then you talk about each song. You could be like, "Yeah, this artist is blah blah blah, and that this song is blah blah blah, and here it is." And you can record it, and then we'll
Yeah.
have Tony time each week.
Excellent.
I like it.
I like it too. I have to make a note for that. Tony time.
Tony's
Tony's time. We're keeping time with Tony. The old drum related things.
keeping time with Tony.
There you
That's
go.
even better, man.
Yeah, keeping time with Tony.
Ah, I love it.
And it could be
Keeping time with
drum central, like the songs could be around drummers. And then we could build a community of drum enthusiasts around that show because we'll play all songs covers, but of with great drums.
So we'll do like every Wednesday from 6 to 8. It's keeping time with Tony.
Keep in time with Tony. Well, maybe like from 6 to 6:15 in the beginning, and then we can build it up from there.
No, you record it ahead of time. You
Six,
don't have to worry about it.
2 hours of time. I could do it over the weekend. That'd be work. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to. There's not much work because you're just you're doing
Yeah,
the
no, I know.
recording of your
You just
talking.
gotta do the segues. I know, but
You don't have to spend 2 hours on
no,
it.
because most of it's gonna be music. I got you.
Right. Right. But
Maybe
you
it's
have to
20
curate the
minutes of
music.
Tony time really out of the 2 hours. The rest of it'll be music. Introduce this
People will
song,
love
talk a little bit
Tony
about it.
time.
They will. Keep in time with Tony. Come on
Keeping
down.
time with Tony. I love it. Yeah. So you're my first. You're
I'll
my
be your
first.
I'm your first,
You're the first person
host
I'm hiring as on-air talent.
first hosted show. Gotcha. Okay. I'll start
Yeah.
working on it myself too. I'll start curating.
I'm gonna write it down. Keep time with Tony. I love it.
Yep. All right.
And yeah, I want to do like I used to love the Casey Kasem countdown shows. Like, remember?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, American Top 40 was his radio show. It was a syndicated program. Started back at least in the early 70s, if not the 60s.
Yeah.
Um, and it was based on the Billboard charts. But then in the 70s, he had a TV show briefly that was called America's Top 10,
Yep.
and that's when I was introduced to Casey Kasem as a kid, and it would just be the top 10 songs of the week, Billboard Top 10,
Mhm.
and and that's back when a lot of bands were doing videos. This is before MTV, but bands were still doing videos. So he'd be like, "Hey, it's Casey Kasem, not top 10." Number 10 is, and he would do the countdown. I used to love that show,
Yeah,
man. I
because 'cause
used
he'd
to
be like,
love,
was this many weeks on the charts, moved up from 12 to 10 this week, broke into the 10, he'd always give like a background on the song.
yeah. I
Up at
wish I
number
could do a
6 this
Casey.
week, up from number 7 last week, or down from number 3 and now at number 5. It was always a good time, and it was, like you
Yeah,
said, it changed every week.
yeah, they play him on Sirius XM on the 70s channel on Saturday morning into
Nice.
the afternoon. They play archived Casey Kasem countdowns. So you'll hear, like, it's the 70s, so they'll play ones from the 70s. So if
Yeah.
it's like, it's August, say this weekend, it's going to be August 24th. So they might have like from 1974, August 25th. Here were the top
Yeah,
40 songs.
top bands, and then you go back and listen to it. That's a
Yeah,
goof too. That's cool.
I listen to that, on my way to work generally every Saturday.
Yeah. Well, that's
But
funny
yeah,
because think of how many times we used the Billboard Top 100, like, to pick songs to make set lists, right?
mhm,
Like, we'd go back and be like, what were, from 1984, what were the top 10 songs? 1990, what were the top 10 songs? You know what I mean?
yeah,
And, like, curate that to create set lists.
yeah.
So we do that now.
Joe Sakamalaka, I don't know how to say his last name. The drummer from UUU cover band. They play out in Pennsylvania. They've been
Yep.
around for decades. That's what he would do. He told me that like decades
They've been
ago.
around.
He
They've
was
been
like,
playing around as UUU for over 30 years.
yeah, yeah. They won all sorts of awards in Pennsylvania
Yeah.
and stuff. But he would do that, check billboards. But it's interesting too when I listen to these countdowns from the 70s. I'm always thinking to myself, like, are these going to be songs, as they're coming? I don't know what the songs are going to be, and I'm thinking, are these going to be songs that are still relevant today, that like people would still know them? Like, it's the
Mm.
number 6 song from 1974, a song people are going to know today. And generally,
Yeah, it depends what the
most
song
of
is,
them
but
they are.
yeah,
Most
I
of
would
them they
agree with
are.
that.
And when you get into the top 10, usually they're songs that, like, endured,
Yeah. Oh,
from,
for sure. Yeah.
you know, I don't know if that's true for songs that are in the top 10 now,
Mm.
because I don't know what's
Yeah.
in the top 10 now.
No. But
Rick
70s
Beato
and
doesn't.
80s were the best decades for music,
Yeah,
that we grew up with, and so many great bands and artists, from 70s, 80s, even 90s. Um,
yeah,
like we always talk about when bands were bands, when you
right.
had a dozen or 20 bands that you would be like, yeah, I'm going to see Van Halen, going to see Iron Maiden, you know? Like there was so many bands to go see back in the day, going to see Pink Floyd, going to see Journey, just, going to see George Thorogood and the Destroyers, just bands upon bands, go to see Queen,
I
you
never
know?
saw Queen.
I saw Queen
Never.
a couple times, saw Billy Squier a bunch of times, saw Skinnerd. I mean, we could go on and on about the concerts we've seen, but hundreds when I was a kid because tickets were like 15 bucks for good seats. And
Somebody just yeah,
and everyone would always play. So, like, they would always come to town, like Brendan Byrne Arena, right? Like, you'd go
yeah,
see Rush there. You would go see Maiden, like Van Halen. Any major act that came through, they weren't playing like City Field on a jumbotron. They were all
right,
playing, either the Garden or the arena.
right, yeah,
You too used to play Brendan Byrne Arena.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, it's like an intimate setting to go see a great, any great band from that era.
yeah. A big arena, but still, yeah. Um, I want to go to the Sphere. I want to see a band at the Sphere.
Yeah.
Do shrooms and go to the Sphere.
Sphere. Be hiding in a corner crying for the whole show.
I was thinking like this is a perfect opportunity if there ever was going to be one in our lifetime again for a Pink Floyd reunion. Play at the Sphere. David Gilmour, Roger Waters, get your shit together, kiss and make up, whatever you got to do. Go play the Sphere as Pink
Well,
Floyd.
David Gilmour's on tour because Cole's going to see him in September. He's playing the Garden.
Yeah, but I mean Pink Floyd, man, come
Yeah, I
on.
know. But you know what it is though, is that David Gilmour has a new album out. So he's gonna do some Floyd probably, all the classic stuff, but he's
I
probably gonna play like 80% of the tunes will be off his new record.
yeah,
Like any band you'd go back in the day, you go see Rush and they would come out with Presto, they're gonna play like almost every song off that record because it's new. They'll still do all the classics that everyone wants to hear, but they're definitely gonna fill up a full set of music from the new album, you know?
yeah. But Pink Floyd, man, come on,
Yeah.
guys. You're both still alive. You just do it for the fans, even
Yeah,
if
I
you
saw
don't like
Floyd a
each
bunch
other.
of times, but never with Roger Waters. It was after that.
Yeah, I saw Roger Waters by himself. I saw Floyd
Yep.
like you did on the Momentary Lapse tour and
Yep.
Division Bell tour
Yep.
with David Gilmour, which was awesome. It was incredible. It was a Giant Stadium, Yankee Stadium. I saw him too. But I mean, those two guys are still alive at one of the most iconic bands ever in the history of rock and roll, and the Sphere is like perfect for Pink Floyd. I mean, that is with the screens and the psychedelic. I mean, come on, let's go, guys.
Get it
Get it
together, Steven.
together.
Make a couple phone calls, will you?
Do it for the fans,
See what
man.
you can put
Forget
together.
about put your egos aside. Do it for the fans.
Yeah. I don't think it's gonna happen, Steve.
No, I know. It's just a dream of mine.
I know.
I have many dreams.
Well, Aerosmith is done.
I know. I know. We were
Yeah,
on hiatus when that happened, but yeah.
they may,
They're
I heard
not touring.
no, they may put out an album of archives and some other stuff, and same thing with Bon Jovi, he just put out a new album. Um,
Yeah,
but
I
he
think
but he's not gonna tour because both Steven Tyler, like you said, fractured his vocal cord, so he's done. But John Bon Jovi just said, his voice just cannot endure the rigors of the road. Like at his age now, he's our age, he just can't go do 200 shows. His voice will not hold up.
yeah,
But he can record an album and sound great. He just can't go out and sing it night after night after night after night.
right. Yeah, I watched that documentary, the Bon Jovi thing. I think we talked about it, right?
Yep.
Um, yeah, Steven Tyler. But God bless him, he made it into his 70s, still singing like a champ, and I don't know that he will never sing again, but they're definitely not going to tour. They made it clear
Yeah.
on that. No
Yep.
more Aerosmith touring. Which, as you know, I'm glad I got to see Aerosmith a lot live. I saw him a bunch of times. So
Yeah, and I think also on this tour, it was starting to get back into the old days again where he was battling with Joe Perry.
mm, yeah.
So it may
Hope
have been a demise later on if his voice had held out.
this is why cover bands are so important now. People are going to carry on the Aerosmith music forever and
Yeah,
ever.
absolutely. All these
Aerosmith
bands,
tribute
like you
bands
said,
out there.
tons.
If there's Aerosmith tribute band out there now, they can claim the spot.
Indeed, they can.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap this up. Thank you guys for listening. If you're listening on the audio podcast, we do appreciate you. And if you're watching here on YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow us on all the socials and get in touch with me, Steve at coverbandcentral.com if you have anything that you want to sell through CBC. If you have music you want me to play on the new radio station that's coming soon,
Yeah.
or whatever else you have. So that's it. Stay cool, man. We'll see you.